going on? Hope you're having a wonderful day. We got a couple things going on this morning. Today is a new day, November the 6th. This is my birthday month. And as always, I love to give gifts as much as I receive them. So right now we're looking at my website, rogers1906.com. At the time of recording this, everybody that's watching it is already a member of the Red E Society. But there is a really great indicator I want to share with you guys that we created for free, meaning you don't have to pay anything for this. Simply go to my website and scroll down to the Red E market structure and click add to your trading view. You'll be able to pull the indicator up directly. So let me explain to you how this thing works. Let's actually look at SPY this morning. And we're going to go right over to we'll just do the 4-hour time frame on SPY. Okay. Now, a couple of cool features about this indicator. Number one is, of course, our dashboard over here. And on the dashboard, you can see if it's saying long active, it's going to be, green. And then if it has a signal, it's going to say neutral, buy, or neutral, weak buy, and strong buy, or neutral, sell. Neutral, weak sell, and then strong sell. So as it says that, the signal will also change the color of the candle. So if it's neutral, it's going to be a white candle, meaning it's right in the middle. Okay. If again it is weak buy, it's going to turn green, like a lime green almost. You could actually see that happen. Let's see right here. Okay. So you can see it a little better. There we go. It's going to be like a light green. As you get to the buy signal, it's going to be a baby blue color. And the strongest buy is a royal blue. That will all be reflected in this same box right here. On the sell side, what happens is it'll say sell. It'll give you a yellow candle. For the weak sell, it'll give you a yellow candle. I'm sorry, I get ahead of myself. And then for the actual sell, it's going to turn orange. And for the strong sell, it will actually turn red, like so. Okay. Now it goes through those colors so you can see the trend of the candle. Also, I uniquely coded in the Strat into this indicator, which it will tell you the exact trend of the current candle, and it also tells you the direction. So, for example, looking at SPY in the 4-hour time frame, this current candle is neutral. However, we have a 2 up on the Strat, and the preceding candle, of course, is a 2 up as well. Now, if it were a 2 down, it will be yellow and have a down arrow. Also, if you are familiar with the Strat, the 3 is a transitional candle. So it could be a 3 up or a 3 down. Most times when it says a 3 on any Strat indicator I've seen, it just only has the number, right? So in this particular indicator, it's telling you the direction with that 3 so you know what trend is getting ready to proceed, okay? So in this case, you see an example where it says the 3, 1, and then a 2. Now, of course, 1s are what you call inside candles. And for the Strat, you never trade on a 1. All of that is in this indicator. All right. Now, also, if you didn't peep this already, it tells you target prices, not just 3, but 5 potential target prices. It also gives you a stop loss. If it is in a bullish trend, those target prices are going to be green. If it is a bearish trend, those target prices will be red. I'm going to a shorter time frame to see if any of them pop up. So right now, just even looking at SPY as I go into the shorter time frames, it's still picking up an uptrend. Okay. So sliding back to that 4-hour time frame, we see those the stop losses also there as well. Okay. I intentionally made sure that these lines were dashed and very obvious to see. Now, I will go over the settings with you of how I have this set up exactly like this, because one thing that's coded into this indicator are the Fibonacci's. And when you first turn on the indicator, you're going to see those Fibonacci's on your screen. Okay, so I will tell you how to turn them on and off. In addition to this, you also have exponential moving averages. The yellow line, in my case, is a 9 exponential moving average. The blue line is a 21 exponential moving average. The pink is a 50 exponential moving average. And the orange line is a 200-day exponential moving average. If you've taken my classes, this is mostly consistent with the exception of the 9 and the 21, okay? Also, you'll notice order blocks. So you have a purple order block, which will act as a level of resistance, and it also changes based on time frame. Then you have a teal order block, which acts as a level of support, okay? Now, also understand that exponential moving averages, of course, always act as a key level of support. So I'm pretty sure most of you should know this already. But if you don't, you could also consider that a level of support. Now, also you'll notice pivots are also highlighted in this indicator as well. But Mark, what if it's too small? Well, check this out. Click on the indicator, okay? You can go to where it says pivots. Well, that's the strat labels. Let's see, strat labels. You should be able to adjust the size. Let's see. There we go. Target price labels, large. Fib labels, normal. I thought it had it on here. Oh, pivot length. Okay, show pivot points, pivot label size. All right, so I can make them huge to where it's clearly obvious that, hey, the trend is reversing. And then you have the strat as a level of confirmation as to what is happening next. Okay. Now, you'll also see trend lines. Trend lines also act as a level of support and resistance. This indicator automatically draws them out for you. So the green line, of course, typically is a bullish trend, but it's also going to act as support in this particular situation. Looking at the 4-hour time frame on SPY, we could actually bounce off of this line. The red one is a bearish trend, which we could reject off of that one. But if it's broken, then of course our next one is going to be that next green line. And typically once we get in that trend line, it's going to ride it up until a certain point or until it completely breaks. Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about the dashboard. Over here on the right, you see a 15-minute, a 1-hour, and a 4-hour time frame. These can also be adjusted in the settings to customize them to the time frames that you want to see. So say, for example, you want to see the 5-minute, the 15-minute, and the 4-hour, you could do that. All right. For me, I like the 15-minute, the 1-hour, and the 4-hour. Okay. You could also change the font color, and you could change the size of anything in this box. Now, it'll say either 30% or 70%. Well, why is that? So this box specifically relates to relative strength index. Based on the time frame, if it is bearish, it's going to be red and say 30. Okay? Not necessarily saying that it is actually oversold, but it is in a selling position. Okay? So I want you to understand that. Now, if it is bullish on either of those 3 time frames, then of course it's going to say 70 and it's going to be green. Now, if you have, let's say, green, a mixture of green and red, right? Or one of these is red and 2 of them are green, it will give you an average, which will be like around what, 56 or 57. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the trend is going to go straight up or straight down, but there is a fluctuation where you can only stay in it for so long. But if you have all green here, it's all gas, no breaks to the upside. If it's all red, well, you might want to consider looking at puts. Then you could additionally go and actually look at the RSI on the dashboard. In this case, on the 4-hour time frame, it's telling us that we have a 45.8 relative strength index. So of course, if this RSI is coming down, we know that the trend is also coming down. We might be going to oversold territory. Okay. Now, if it's going up, then we know that our trend is also going up, and we could possibly head to that 70, which is an overbought territory for a relative strength index. Okay. Now, we just recently in the Red E University Mentorship program talked about the volume delta and other indicators that you could use for that. While I don't have the volume delta on the actual overlay to where you can see the chart, it's still coded into this algorithm to where it will tell you and confirm an uptrend or downtrend, and also turn green for that uptrend or red for the downtrend. It's also going to give you the volume of that volume delta. In this case on SPY, it's saying 7249.32 million, whatever. We just know it's green. I want you to focus on the color there. Also, for the dominance, you can see bull and bearish dominance here. So currently looking at SPY on this 4-hour time frame, it has a 78% bearish dominance, okay, and a 21% bullish dominance. So this means that, hey, if you're in calls, you might have a problem, okay? Just looking at these statistics specifically. Now, if I go to a shorter time frame, right, we still see that same dominance. And we also see a different volume delta based on that time frame, as well as a different trend. Notice that sell and how it turns orange, okay? Our EMAs, however, do remain in a bullish trend on SPY on the later time frame, specifically overall, indicating that in the long term, SPY is still strong bullish. So I wouldn't always rely on the EMA trend as much as I would as what starts at the top. This is the overall big picture for you swing traders, for you buying leaps. This is how you can look at that pullback or whatever's going on as an opportunity. Also, this is the rate of return, your target price, TP3. So if I'm looking at, say, the 15-minute time frame, there's about a 35.28 to 1% chance that we hit the third target price, which is $712.06 on SPY. All right, based on this current setup with the market not being open. So this dashboard is clutch, and it's gonna work every time. Now, also notice that on each candle, it will tell you buy and sell signals. Now, I must tell you, I do have ICT kill zones on, so I'm going to turn that off. The only indicator you are seeing is none other than the red E market structure right now. Everything else is off. Now, let's go to the settings real quick, and I want to go over this with you. We talked about adjusting the size for the pivots. We can also adjust the pivot length, how many pivots that you want to have factored in. You don't necessarily see the lines, but it's in there to where it will tell you where it's getting ready to pivot. Also, you can increase or decrease the amount of trend lines you want to see. Say, I only want to see 2. Well, that's what it'll give me. I could also increase the width of those lines. So if I want to make them bigger to where I can see them a little bit better, I can adjust that here. I could also adjust the colors. Say if I want blue for the uptrend, purple for the downtrend. They're there, okay? That opportunity is there for you to see those. You could also adjust your relative strength index, right? Some people like the 80 is overbought and the 20 is oversold. If you think about other indicators that we've used in the past, that's something that they use. You could also code in a moving average length. Of course, you don't see this RSI. It only gives you the numerical data, okay? But you can make any adjustments that you need. You could turn on and off your entry signals, your take profit levels, and your stop loss. But why would you want to do that? Okay. Also, you can adjust your take profit 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5 percentages, right? So you may decide that you want to do a 0.5, a 1, a 1.5, a 2, a 2.5, and then hit OK. All right. Well, you could hit OK, but we still got more to cover. Also, you want to make sure you leave the average true range checked. Don't make any adjustments to this. The take profit and stop loss label, I made them large. You can make it extra large, normal, or small. The Fibonacci, which I have turned off, you can make that whatever size you want as well. You can customize your EMAs and change it to the ones that you like. You can move this multi-time frame dashboard to any corner. You can adjust the time frames. You can adjust the font color. You can adjust the size. Now for the Fibonacci's, which they do work, they just kind of get in my way a little bit, but I'm going to turn them on so you can see what it looks like. Now I chose to turn them off because, again, it's too much color going on, and it still shows me my direction, but it's a lot wider than I would like to see compared to other indicators that we have used in the past. So personally, I have preferred, even though this is my thing, right, to just turn them off. Now I could decrease the look back period. I could decrease or increase the line transparency and make it to where the colors don't show. But I think that having those colors are necessary with fibs because it's still giving you a level and a range or a target price. But we already got so much going on, we don't necessarily have to have it. Okay. Now, in addition to the main dashboard, I've kind of been playing with this because the default color, of course, is going to be white. But as that signal changes, of course, I know what the color means, but sometimes I want to see the word. So I've used white, I've used blue, but you can find a color that works for you, right? You could also adjust the size, tiny, small, normal, large, or huge, just like the some of the other settings here. And then, of course, let's move to the Strat. All right. So the Strat, of course, we briefly talked about it. I didn't go into too much detail about how it works, but I gave you just enough to where you can be dangerous, right? But the Strat, you could turn that on and off if it gets in your way. Also, you could decide whether or not you want to show the labels, which I wouldn't turn them off because it helps, right? And then you could also adjust the size. Personally, I wouldn't want it huge, but you know, some people might. Okay. You could also adjust the colors. So for your bullish color or the Strat itself, like your inside candles, they're yellow. If you want to just change them and make them red, you can do that. Or you can make them pink, whatever it is you want to do. Okay. And then your up color, I kept mine as green. My down color is orange. I mean, if I want red, I can do that too. Okay. But you know, it's up to you. It's up to you. All right. Now for the 3, the transitional candle, you can make that whatever color you want as well. White may not be the best option, nor will black. Well, black's not too bad. But I mean, you might decide that you want, you know, to change those colors, and you could do that. But to each his own. All right. Now the volume order blocks, you can decrease the sensitivity. I had it set at the default of 5, but you know, I mean, it's really up to you. You can even go 7. So the higher you go, it looks like the less blocks that you will see. The lower you go, it's actually going to increase the sensitivity. So just understand that. You also can adjust the color of the bullish and the bearish order blocks. Okay. Now, as far as style is concerned, with my EMAs, personally, you know, I like everything to be on the thickest setting. So, you know, I'll go in and I'll make them thick, but I think by default, they should come in thick as is. All right. Now, with the buying and selling, it's I have it to where it puts an arrow up or down. You can change these to whatever you want, whether it's labels or triangles, but you can adjust those. Okay. And anything that you just don't want, like if I don't want lines or any lines, I can uncheck it. It'll go away. If I don't want anything filled, like my opacity or shadows, turn them off. If I didn't want labels, turn that off. But why would you do that? And if I didn't want tables, I could turn them off. But again, why would you do that? So that summarizes the red E market structure. And I know it may sound biased, but this indicator, just testing it out yesterday, has hit. And I hope that you are able to utilize this, make a lot of money. And of course, you don't have to pay anything for it. You can just win. And that's the main goal. And of course, I pray that part of your winning is right here with us in the Red E Society. And of course, you can simply just join us. If you're not a member, use discount code number 10 off, altogether 10 off, and become a member today. Thank you.